I think.
You don't need that, Marley. You don't need it. You're just saying, I found many things had this problem. That's okay. Yeah. If you said which, your focus would be on books, which had too many slangs. You're saying this.
Because it's talking about the book. Books had many slangs.
Yeah, but you're saying I found many books had too much slang in them. That's correct. That's good. So, well, we start at the bottom. Why not? There you go. That's good. Yes, because that's uncountable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Still common error. Keeps. Problem is with language. You learn something theoretically, oh right, that's an uncountable, but you've probably said it for the last 5 years as countable. So there's a habit, isn't there, that you've got to undo.
Slangs are uncountable.
Yeah, you can't say slangs. You can't pluralise it, it's uncountable. And therefore you have to use much, don't you? Much is for uncountables, many for countables. So too much slang, correct. Joined, aligning, absolutely. Joined to, you cannot do it. In this context, we can, but in other contexts we can say it. When we're talking physically, this board is joined to the wall, like when it's fixed to something. We're talking about physical things, yes. One thing is joined to another. That camera is joined to the tripod because I screwed it together. You can say joined to, but when you talk about a person joining something, a club, an organisation, no two. So that's a common error, probably because it can be used in other parts of the language, you know, like that. You do have the two, and people get a bit mixed up. On number 8 still, there's one more, and it's the collocation here. You don't accomplish a target. You accomplish a goal. And if you want to use target, you reach a target.
But you say 4 or 3.
So reach a target or accomplish the goal.
But you say only 3 wrong. That's why we were thinking 3.
Well, I'm regarding that as 1 because that's a countable problem, right? Yeah.
We knew something wrong there.
Did you?
But
Good,
just
good,
thinking,
good.
okay, 3 only. Then
All right.
that's it.
Fair enough. Let's go down to number 9. That would be one way of solving it. Yes. D's. What was the problem with 9? Did you feel? As it, you know, before. Why did you do that? That's one way of solving the problem. I'm just interested in why you did it.
No word.
That's right. No verb is there. It's not a sentence. If we read that, a multicultural society that provides opportunity for everyone, regardless of race, that is one big noun clause. It's a subject. I'm waiting for the verb. Now there are a few cases. Ahmed. This is Ahmed. This one.
Yeah.
That's a sentence fragment, which you have a few in your, you know, you had 3 or 4 of these, I think, in your piece. But others did too, but you know, that was one issue you had, which is where, see, a multicultural society that provides opportunity for everyone, regardless of race.
To do what?
It's like a big long, and it's quite, this can easily happen when you get a complex subject like this. You think, oh, you know, and you can see there's a verb there, but it's not the main verb, is it? Because it's all it's doing is making a noun clause, which you're just building the first element of your sentence. That's still a subject, and you've got no verb there. So, yeah, when you start expressing more complex ideas, you've got to be careful that you're making full sentences and reread them. And you know, where's the main verb? You should always be able to point to a main verb. And you see how that's lost, and that is a really clever solution. Just take out your relative pronoun. What that does then is makes that the main verb, doesn't it? We've changed the subject. Where's our subject now? That's right. So there's our subject. Here's our verb. And there's the object. The opportunity for everyone.
So pretty much my essay, I did a complex sentence, but I didn't put a fragment or.
There were some fragments, and then the opposite problem is when you keep on going too long, and you get what we call a run-on sentence,
Yeah.
which is generally what people do there, is they'll put a comma instead of a full stop, and they're joining two statements, but you can't, then you've got sort of two sentences. It should be two, but if you've got it as one, that's a run-on. So this is kind of the opposite problem.
And John, what about the comma? For everyone?
Yeah,
Comma
that's
is
fine.
right.
Yeah.
Does it say regardless of race?
Okay, I'll say it, and here where the comment is. A multicultural society provides opportunity for everyone, regardless of race. Right? You can hear the pause? Yes. Yeah. So that's a little bit of adverb that's describing the provision. So there's a little comma separating the adverbial off from the rest. Okay, so if we move upwards to 7. Yeah, look, that actually, alright, that's one way of solving the problem. I used to have friends, yeah. No, you don't need to do so, and you don't need to do I, because your I's here.
Yeah.
What happened here was, that is one way of solving it. That's a different way of interpreting the used to. What if we do this? This is how the person meant it. I was used to, what does I was used to mean? I was regular and I was familiar with it, isn't it? So I was used to having, that was the problem in the original. So I was used to, if it's like, there's a lot of drilling going on, but I'm used to it, it means I'm familiar with it, it doesn't bother me. But if you do that, you've got I was used to, and then we have to have a noun. And so you have to do a gerund here. Not I was used to have, I was used to, I was used to having. Or you don't have to do a gerund, you can have a noun. I'm used to the disturbance out the door, the workman downstairs. I'm used to the disturbance. You've got to have a noun though. Or I'm used to the drilling. I'm used to the digging and its noise. Either a gerund or a non-gerund, doesn't matter, but you've got to have a noun there. I was used to something. You can't do a verb form here, you've got to have a noun, either the gerund or the non-gerund noun form.
Is that 4 or down the solution 2 or 4?
Hang on, you're up here, I'm down here. Just, I'll get there. I was used to having friends, there's your noun, and found it. We don't need that there. There's ellipsis. We've talked about ellipsis, missing something out. You can miss out that subject because it's here. And in writing, it's best. There's a lot of ellipsis in writing, more in speech actually. But that makes the writing more economical. And found it, so the and is okay. So would create a different meaning. And found it hard, don't need the was. That is kind of there, but it's ellipsed. But we can keep it ellipsed. Found it hard to, yes, adapt to, correct, not adopt. There were a few confusions around adapt and adopt, generally. So adapt, and it's got to be adapt to, which means you fit in with. It's a new situation, and humans adapt to the new culture, or an animal adapts to its environment, fits in with, and you need to.
John,
Yeah?
with used to, can I say I was used to get up or getting up?
Getting. That's exactly what I mean. You've got to have a gerund there.
Okay.
You can't say I was used. You can say I used to get up.
Yes.
Now that's a different meaning.
Okay.
And this is perhaps the
When I
confusion.
use was, I have to put I.
Yeah. Now there's two kind of used to. I used to get up.
Yes.
I I used to feed my kids breakfast every morning. Now they do it themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I used to. This is regular habit.
Yeah.
But I was used to something with the was here.
ING.
This means I was familiar with it and it didn't bother me. It's a different meaning. And when you do this meaning, this form, you have to have a gerund or a noun.
But we get 1 of 3.
Yep. One more. Finish here.
Comma.
Yes. Now, remember the rule we've learned so far, which is, here's a clause, isn't it? And then we got a coordinating conjunction. And we got another clause. And I've said put a comma. So I'm going to take that out because it shouldn't be there. Why? So it sort of seems like I'm breaking the rule that I've told you about.
Because and before and if you put comma, they should like if you're going to give two ideas and then we put the comma before and. But here, because we're giving two ideas and we don't need to put and there.
Two ideas. No, I was used to having friends.
And it's because the second bit of the sentence is describing the first one. So we
Describing this bit.
because it's the result of that one.
Because
There is a
It's not really about the ideas.
They're dependent to each other.
I.
Yes.
Because if put the comma after is an I found.
Yes, right. Yes. If that I was in there, correct, Nancy, you'd have a comma. Right. So, we don't have it. And so, where the I is back here, isn't it? There's your subject. And that subject is the subject of that clause, and it's the subject of that clause.
can I say,
And it's what we call, hang on, let's finish the point. It's called a compound subject. Compound means like, stuck together, compound. Think of a chemical compound. It's elements stuck together, isn't it? Here's the rule. When you have a compound subject, so it's the same subject for both clauses, then you don't have your comma. This is when that rule that I told you is cancelled out.
the fanboy,
Yeah, for when you have, that's right. No, normally the fanboys rule you have your comma though. But if you have your comma, I'll just repeat it again. If you have your compound subject that refers, is the subject of both clauses, that disappears. That's a really tricky rule, and heaps and heaps of natives, 99.99671% of natives do not know that rule. But you may as well know it. The same works for compound objects. The teacher marked the work comma, do you think, and handed it back to the students. Sorry, that's a compound subject too. The teacher marked the work, comma, and the essays that had been sitting on his shelf for the last month.
So it's totally different to
Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It was a teacher marked, and then now there are two objects. The student's work, and I don't put a comma, and then I mentioned another object, and all the essays have been sitting there for the last month. No comma, because that's a compound object. Both those objects are referring to the verb marked, aren't they? Right, so any compound, either subject or object, you don't do your comma. It's a fussy little rule, but you may as well know it.
but still can get away for it or not?
You will get away with it, because 99.671% of lecturers won't know it. All right?
And also, can I use a
However, a good editor, if some of you will probably move on to professional writing and to professional journals, and there'll be editors, and those editors will probably know the rule.
And also, can I having a phrase, but found it hard to adapt to the
But
culture?
yes, you
Can
can
I
do
use
another.
but?
Any fanboys one here? So, but, and yet, nor,
I
yeah.
can use a but, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
to avoid that confusing comment.
Yeah. I mean, it depends whether it makes logical sense, but my point is the same comma rule will apply. It doesn't matter what coordinated conjunction you've got there.
But if we put comma, we can say, so I found it. Comma, so I found it.
Okay, if you've got your O, your I, you can put your comma, can't you? Because you're repeating your subject. But let's do a so, and you're not going to put I, no comma. So it doesn't matter which coordinated conjunction you use, it's the same rule. Right? Okay. People in, there's your error. Remember? That's a psychological error, not a grammar error. Okay? This is your country. That's your native country. So there's one there. Yes, now not stressed out. Stressed out, just that it makes it too spoken.
Phrase of the...
Yeah. Are always stressed, that's correct. Are always stressed, are always not enjoying life. That's okay, don't need any of that. That's all okay. Don't need that. However, okay, here's the issue. So you have 1, 2, the third is that. Now, if I leave that there, yeah, that's why whoever marked it, yeah, that will be one way of solving it. Unlike Australians, you're right, that was, because what you're saying is all the, those people are stressed unlike Australians.
Means Australia are relaxed.
Yes, that's what you're trying to say. However, by putting the comma there, let's just take that off. By putting the comma there, you're saying they're like this, like Australians. It means the same. Now, let's take it off. That's what you meant. They're not enjoying life like Australians do. Right? So that comma, I just saw that, and I thought there's a really interesting case of how a comma totally changes the meaning to the opposite, doesn't it? Just one comma change, and you get an opposite. You don't often get those, but I thought it was an interesting one to capture. Can you see how? Sorry, can you see how it does that? Can you see how it changes the whole meaning?
I have a question about, but for the enjoy, be enjoying is kind of processing, but enjoy life is kind of status. But the writer, the author, what he or she really mean is the status, not processing.
Status? You mean stative, like stative verb?
Present tense express the status, and be doing processing. But enjoy life is.
I think you mean state rather than status. Status is like social status, high or low. You mean the state, the condition.
The state.
Yeah.
Condition.
Yeah. People in my country are always.
And are always enjoying life.
Yeah. Okay. What we could do is let's check it by. Take that out. People in my native country are always not enjoying life. Right? Sounds a bit weird. We can't say are always stressed out and do not enjoy. Like, look, what you put there would be fine. That's okay. It sounds good, but I don't think there's a problem with the other. People can say, oh, people are not in. Like, for example, I can say, somebody was saying to me the other day, because they were Korean and they were telling me about, people who work so hard and daughters who come home at 1 o'clock from cram school and another one from 11 o'clock, and they were saying, kids in Korea, or people in Korea are not enjoying life. You can say that. Is that your point, James?
That's my point.
Yeah, no, you could say that. Rather than do not enjoy, yeah. Because both are okay in this case, yeah. You say they're really not enjoying life. They don't enjoy life. They're both alright. But you're right, a lot of the time, stative verbs are fixed, aren't they? They shouldn't, they're fixed in the simple form and you shouldn't put them in the continuous. But the enjoying one, you can.
For the problem of the like, if you still use like, that means Australians are also stressed and not enjoying life.
If we put it like this, and they're not, so they are not,
They're not enjoying
they're not doing
life
this.
Australians. That means
They're not enjoying life like Australians.
That means Australians are also not enjoying
No.
life.
If you, without the comma, it means these people are not enjoying life like Australians. Right? But if we put the comma, see, by taking the comma out, what we're doing is we're packaging, people are not, and they're not doing this thing, enjoying life like Australians. But if we put the comma, the package is more like this. We put a package there. People in my country are all stressed out and not enjoying life. There's the end of your package, like Australians. And that's not what this person is meaning. That's the point of the comma, it packages the ideas differently.
Should we just make another option to correct it, like unlike Australians? Comma.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was saying, like,
both are fine.
yeah, that's one way of dealing with it, isn't it? You could have your comma and do that. I rubbed it out at first because I thought, oh, that wasn't such, but it is. That's good.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
an alternative question.
Yeah, that would be a way of solving it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, two things here. One, it is correct. So, no contractions. It's, don't, couldn't, theirs. This sort of, right, we're dropping out a letter, aren't we? And you put in an apostrophe. Right, that's called a contraction. I've mentioned these before. Recycle the idea. Right, so contractions in writing, do not do them. Didn't, can't, won't, etc. Any form of contraction, don't use it in writing, at least formal writing. Okay, so the other problem with this is that we should say not it is, but there is. There is a different way of processing rubbish here. That's okay, you don't have to say in Australian. Which is, yes, exactly, pretty to spoken. It's pretty hot, it's pretty complicated, it's pretty disorganised. Very, or quite, or rather. So, what are some alternatives? Quite, rather, if you want to be kind of low intensity, if you want to be higher, very. Completely wouldn't, yeah, you could, but pretty is not the same meaning. It's softer, isn't it? It's lower intensity.
It's not the formal.
That's right. Too spoken. And now, the other thing is just that way. This would work. There is a different way of processing rubbish here. However, way can be tricky. It is better method. And Chinese speakers, for some reason, watch it. Because there seems to be, I don't know why, don't know what your translation is, but you tend to overuse this way when, like, especially like, I don't know, I've had teachers who write about the teaching way. No, teaching method. Yeah, so you're trying to create collocations with way and it doesn't work. Method will solve the problem in all situations. It'll sound a lot better. Yeah, method. Now, 5, okay. What do we have here? Yeah, the culture. Correct. It's not understanding culture generally, is it? It's the culture, meaning Australian culture. And now, get. Yes, problem with get. I won't do the problem with get first. We'll do something else. The solution, I'll come back to this in a minute. Here are the solutions. Making friends, understanding culture, and what will we expect here? Getting. Let's just forget this for the moment. Getting. Can you see what the verbs are doing? If you have two verbs of making, understanding, well, you need the next one, or, depend, just keep going. You got 4, 5, 6. Getting, acquiring, believing. This is called parallelism. Parallelism in writing. So once you start a certain form in your sentence, you've got to keep it going. That is often an issue in resumes, because people will write one verb, because you often write a lot of verbs about what your activities were. And I see, a person will use one verb form, and then they'll use a different verb form, and then come back to the first, and then a different one. And you need them all in parallel. Either all in simple past, or all in infinitive, or all with the ing, or whatever. Whatever your coach on the resume says, but whatever you do, keep it parallel.
Is it for the solutions for this problem?
Yeah, now okay, let's come back to this. Solution 2, correct.
Solution 2.
Yeah. We haven't finished here though. Get is a problem, isn't it? Remember? $72 fine using the word get. And that's a good attempt achieving, however, it's not a collocation. You can't achieve knowledge.
Receiving.
You can't receive, well,
Obtaining.
okay, you're very close with, at least you got an A there. Acquiring, obtaining, but gathering knowledge, gathering information, but you don't gather knowledge. Gaining, yes. Gaining knowledge. Or acquiring is probably one of your most common collocations. If you're not sure, you're writing something, you got the word knowledge. What's the verb? Which website do you check? Just the word. Alright, I want to keep on bashing away at this just the word website, because that's the one that's going to help you get collocations. And I don't know, have you been referring to it when you're writing your essay? If not, we're doing a language check tomorrow, just a reminder. Get onto the website tonight and go, just read your piece again and think, gee, is that a collocation? Is that a collocation? I bet you have half a dozen or a dozen. And you think, get ready for tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to hit just the word and I'm going to check these out. Right? And clean it up, ready for tomorrow. So you've got your best thing. But it will just be that extra practice in visiting that website. Visiting that website is such a useful website, it should just be a habit.
Except this which kind of vocabulary can help us with this caesore or
the Longman activator might, in the sense if you find that word, acquiring, you've probably got example sentences. The other thing that Cambridge Advanced Dictionary, if you look up knowledge, it might have some collocations. The other one, I don't know, I can't remember, have we looked at it yet? The other collocation dictionary, I don't think we have. It's next to just the word in the Moodle, Ausdic. And that's a much simpler, because just the word is very detailed. If you want a quick summary and you want to see like the top 4 or 5 collocations to a word, we'll maybe have a look at this one in a minute. I don't think I've shown that to you yet, have I?
No.
Yeah, that's a kind of fast, quick one. So you can always work with that quite a lot and then check just the word if you want more detail.
Well, you said Cambridge is
Learner's dictionary, yeah. But I think that's better for collocations. They're quicker and you'll get more of them. Now,